4:59 and 30
Okay,
seconds.
we're on.
We're on now. Okay, there you go. Welcome aboard, everybody. It's Sunday morning, and that's correct. You're listening to The Lady and the Legend. Okay, Lady and the Legend, right here on Lenny Melnick, FantasySports.com. It's not Sirius Radio. Don't get confused.
Yeah, because there's no commercials that are
No
ridiculous.
commercials. You don't have to pay for it.
Malpal.
We love Shush. We love Sirius Radio, but they Chris Gallo says
I know.
nothing.
Just keep refreshing. And
All right, I have to refresh. Okay, sound is good. James Caprion says good. Okay,
Thank you.
So once again, Sirius Radio has decided to replace us with nobody.
Can you
but
can we not talk about that?
Yes,
anymore?
that's all. But we'll be here every Sunday, if as long as we have people who want to hear us, and we'll be doing about a 45-minute show. But you know what? We may do even longer. Now with Sirius, it was 2 hours with commercials and breaks and stuff. You got none of that malarkey. So there you go. Good morning to you all who've made it into the chat room on a Sunday morning. The only one I don't see, who I was looking for, Eddie Heckman, who has been asking me for months to where's the Lady and the Legend? Well, here we are. All right, let's get off to it right now, Andy. And what are you doing? Just pay attention to the show, okay?
Why do you think I'm not paying attention?
Because you're texting people.
No, I'm not. I was getting into the chat room.
You're waking up Malpal.
Suck on it.
Oh. Sal Bando passed away.
I know.
You know Sal? It's 87.
To be honest, I only really know him because of you. I was only born in 1975.
Yeah, well, he was with the A's from 72 to 74.
He led the American League in extra base hits,
Yes,
doubles,
he did.
total
Yeah.
bases in 1973, and he hit 287, and he played in all 162 games.
And
he also was a manager, too, after
Well,
that.
he was a man, but he was the captain.
Captain.
Of the great Oakland Athletics team with Reggie Jackson and Joe Rudy.
Was he a manager?
I think he became a manager after that, but not with Oakland. Anyway, rest in peace to the great Sal Bando. Now, I'm running a poll on Twitter, and
okay, Elon.
Yeah, Elon.
You get a lot less votes than Elon.
Well, also, my poll isn't as great, but that's another story. To keep people's interest in baseball, and I saw a post on this on Facebook, baseball needs to keep games under 2.5 hours.
Oh, get a life.
Well, and somebody says it was a fact. I don't know where they got that from.
That's an opinion.
So,
okay, that is an opinion.
Well, we'll see.
To keep people's interest, baseball needs to keep games under 2.5 hours. That's an opinion.
Yeah, that's 2.5 hours, not 2.5 hours, okay? So the
What's
point
the
is,
difference?
what does the chat room think? Does baseball need to be 2.5 hours, okay? What do you think?
Bull dinky, poppycock.
Also, Sal Bando was a general manager with the Brewers. Okay?
You know, one of the best things about baseball, when you go to a game, it's very laid back. It's very casual. You don't have to watch every single pitch.
Yep.
And you have a lot of times to socialize with your friends.
How many times have you gone to the bathroom when the game was going on? And I don't think there's a stadium that I know of who has a TV in the bathroom. I know they do at the concession stands, but do they have TVs in the bathroom?
I've never seen one,
All
but
right.
I only go in the girls' bathroom.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
Okay, now, while baseball is concerned with how many minutes the games are going, here's what they should be concerned about. The only sport going on in July is what?
Baseball.
Baseball. Should they and last year, remember, some teams were off on the 4th of July last year. That is nuts.
You know I have a lot to say about this.
Well,
but
go ahead. That's why we're here.
I'll keep it quick.
How do you go on a radio show, do your own radio show, say I have a lot to say?
I could do a whole show about this.
Well, just do part of it. Go ahead.
Okay, and how anti-American sports has become. They don't even stand for the national anthem. They do not want to capitalize on the holiday because it's not woke enough. It just bothers me to my core because it used to be 4th of July was double headers, remember?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
And Memorial Day with Deborah
Memorial Day.
Headers.
Memorial Day.
They don't
too.
do either of those anymore. You could barely get them to have the military at the games.
Well, that's what baseball has to do. And also, I remember the attendance, the military people don't pay to get in. I don't know if that's still the case.
It's
but
not.
It should be. All right.
Absolutely.
Genius.
You know what?
Whoa.
On top of kids getting into games free, I was talking to Boston Paul the other day, and he was talking about when he was a kid going to baseball games with his dad.
Yes.
It makes fans out of kids. There's no doubt about it. Not only that, it's great for family time. It's great to bond with your kids at
Right.
a baseball game. And the unfortunate thing is that a lot of people can't afford to go and take their family to baseball games. The military there should be days where the military can take their family for free.
Yep.
Veterans get to go for free. Why not? If you let the veteran in for free, you're selling other tickets to their family.
And that's it. Okay, let's get to the Genius of the Day question.
Can I play?
Where you can't play.
Come on.
Genius of the Day, where you could win a prize that could change your life. Okay, now, we got a couple of Genius of the Day questions. Some of them are pretty tough. All right?
Is this one tough?
Yeah, this one's a tough one, and I have one that's not tough. That's relatively easy. There are 2,242 players in the history of baseball who have over 30 at bats. Now, I'm talking about visiting players.
At Wrigley.
At Wrigley
Where's that
Field as a visiting player. Over 2,200 players. Name the only player who is slugging over 1.0. Okay? The only player
As a visitor.
at
Wrigley.
Wrigley Field. He's also the only player who's slugging .9.
So
So who is it?
the second place guy at Wrigley visiting hitter.
All right.
Anyway, that's one Genius of the Day. That's the easy one, right?
That's the tough one, okay? We have an
That's
easy
not the-
one that we will get to. The easy one's not that easy, okay? But it's
I want to say something.
the-
Where's Eddie? Is he not here?
Eddie's not here.
We're moving on without him.
We're moving on. We got to move on. Eddie Heckman not here.
I want to make a point about Baltimore.
All right.
What
well,
happened last year?
We're talking about the Detroit Tigers, and I know I covered this briefly on the podcast during the week, but Andy, the Tigers are announced Wednesday that they'll adjust Comerica Park's outfield dimensions and wall height ahead of opening day of this year.
Right, and I have to bring this up because it's so interesting. Baltimore Orioles. What's their Comerica? What's Baltimore?
Camden Yards.
Camden. Okay, so this year the Detroit Tigers are bringing in the walls to make it more hitter friendly. Last year, Camden Yards, they moved in the walls, and we talked.
No, they moved out the wall.
They moved out the walls, and we talked about this going into the season about how it's going to affect the hitters there. And let me tell you, when Lenny asked me to look up the number of home runs that were hit in Camden Yards between 21 and 22 in comparison, it's half. Last year they hit half of the number of home runs. Last year they had 77 home runs in their ballpark. The year before they made the moves to the dimensions of the park, they had 153 home runs, so literally cut in half. Now, if you think about the reason that I bring that up is with the Detroit Tigers moving in their walls, it couldn't affect this park as much as it affected Baltimore last season. Think about it. This past year, Detroit and Baltimore had the same number of home runs, 77. If, in fact, this does make this much of a difference, which we know this is their sole intention of doing it.
Yeah, well, for a long time they had a reputation of being a pitcher-friendly park, and according to, I think it was Baseball Reference,
Baseball operations. The president of baseball operations came out and
why
said...
don't you let me finish?
Go ahead.
According to Baseball Reference, Comerica suppresses offense by about 3% compared to the standard field. Go ahead.
The president of baseball operations said the whole reason that they're doing this in Detroit is to create more home runs, more power, more offensive play. I do think this is going to be a big difference maker. So one person in the chat brought up this trade that they were considering, which would be to get Spencer Torkelson. We do think that he's going to be the first baseman in Detroit this year. He's young. He hasn't done that great, but he does have power, and he absolutely could benefit from this in many ways, especially since he's going to get the playing time.
Torgelson's going to be given plenty of leash.
Yeah.
He's a former number 1 overall pick, struggled as a rookie. He posted a lowly .60 OPS with 8 homers over 110 games, and even when he was demoted to AAA, he still wasn't that great, but he's just 23. He has plenty of pedigree, offering hope he could figure things out in 2023.
He batted .190 in April with a 33.8% strikeout rate, and that was pretty bad. But I do think that he was better over the last month of the season, which we call momentum going into this new season. He only batted .219, but his strikeout rate went from 33.8 to 21.7 in the last month of the season. So not only is he going to have that leash, he's on a team. You know, Miguel Cabrera is now strictly DH.
Yes.
So he'll play first base, and he'll have these young kids in Detroit do benefit from a guy like Miggy Cabrera in the clubhouse.
And the Tigers are still very much in the rebuilding mode, but they have plenty of available time for Torkelson. And what about Riley Green?
As much as I've been down on Torkelson and use him as an example of why you don't put all your faith in a prospect, because he's
a rookie is a rookie is a rookie.
As much as I've been down on him, I will say that the future does look bright for him, even because all of the things that they were so high on when he first was a prospect and they thought, oh, he's going to come up and start the season in Detroit. He was horrible. And sometimes it takes a couple of years. Now we move on to Riley Green, who is also another youngster in Detroit. He actually hit .250 with a .321 on base percentage across 93 games as a rookie. He hit 5 home runs, but he did try to steal 5 bases, and he only was successful 1 time. But still, even though those numbers are not inspiring, the 5th overall pick in 2019, he was really considered one of the top prospects of the game, and they're going to give him leash as well.
That's right, so we'll see.
Did I steal all that from you?
Yes, yes, you did. Okay, so Genius of the Day, and then we'll throw out another one. Name the player the only visiting player for the
to come to Wrigley Field and hit slug over 1.
And slug over 1, or even .9. Okay?
There's been 2,242 visiting players with over 30 at-bats at Wrigley. Right. And this is the only one.
Who is the player? That's the Genius of the Day.
Arnie says Mike Schmidt. Welcome back, Arnie.
Not right, Arnie, but Arnie is right there. Arnie's so busy. I invited him to do a podcast, but people are busy. How come you and I are the only ones in the country who have?
It doesn't matter.
Who are not busy.
We're fine the way it is.
So here's the second question.
Wait, you skipped the spending spree. The highest spending team.
Okay. No, well, here's the thing.
I want you guys to think of this.
That's the Genius of the Day question.
Oh, it is?
All right. Genius of the Day, Part 2. Okay? According to Jeff Passan, who is the highest spending team in free agency this winter?
It's not just Jeff Passan. You could go to Spot Track and find out.
Quiet, please. Don't tell them where to go.
Okay.
But who is the highest spending team in free agency this winter?
It's not the Mets.
And it's not the Mets. Don't say it's not the Mets.
You have to, Leonard.
All right, that's the clue. So whoever gets it right will become the Genius of the Day.
Okay, Boston Paul says Hank Aaron.
Bando
That's
and
a good
Mays.
guess. None of those. He's still playing.
None of those. He's still playing. Okay, how about that one?
And he used to be a Cubby.
So, the highest spending team in free agency this winter, guaranteed more than 18. They are guaranteeing more than 18 of the lowest spending teams combined. Okay, how about that one?
Right, so, this team that spent the most on free agency.
But it's free agency, remember. For not San Diego, not the Twins.
They're up there, though. The Twins. I think the Twins... Well, we're going to talk about the Twins, I think, a little more later, but...
And
they just got Pablo Lopez.
Yeah.
I think they're going to... They might sign Bauer.
Could be. Could be because they're still out in the market. Now, how about if this happens in the WBC? This is exciting. This is worth going to.
Oh,
Mike
on.
Trout against Shohei Ohtani. Wouldn't that be a great matchup?
Not since they're all going to be blown out by the Dominican Republic team.
But
No
still,
team can compete
you're
with
talking
them.
about a matchup. Trout. There are two different teams.
Right.
So Trout up at the plate against Ohtani.
Who do you think would win as far as like? Do
I
you think
don't
that
know.
Trout can hit Ohtani?
I have no idea. But what about Ohtani? Ohtani should get what? Somebody said 300 million as a 600. Ohtani should get 300 million as a hitter, and Ohtani should get 300 million as a pitcher.
Good luck.
Anybody agree with that?
That's ridiculous.
He has the stats to get both. 300 million as a hitter, 300 million as a
Yeah,
pitcher.
come back to me when he pitches 200 innings. Is he pitching 200 innings?
Not likely, but if he gets
But he's
300
been great. I'll give him
He
that.
has been great. Okay. Odds to win the 2023 World Series. Who do you like?
The Blue Jays.
Ooh, good one. 14-1.
You're going to pick the. I also like the Padres, but their odds aren't good enough to go and make like a.
And there are too many good teams against them. The Blue Jays 14-1.
You like the Phillies 14-1.
How do you know?
'Cause you told me yesterday.
We live together, all right? The
'Cause all we do is talk baseball.
All right, I'll take the Phillies at 14-1. I think the changes that the Phillies have made really do them well, especially in the bullpen. When you have Craig Kimbrell,
Yeah,
Sir
they added
Anthony
that.
Dominguez,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jose Alvarado, then you got Gregory Soto. I'm telling you, they got Matt Stram as another lefty.
And they have two lefties in their rotation now, too.
Yes, they got Suarez and Bailey Falter, and they're not done yet. I still. What do you think of? I'm Homer Bailey with not Homer Bailey.
Homer
What's his
Bailey.
name?
Bailey.
What's his name? Your guy?
Bauer?
Yeah, Trevor Bauer with Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, Taiwan Walker, not Christopher Sanchez and Bailey Falter, but they have room for Trevor Bauer.
I think that the Twins or the Rangers are going to sign him, but that's who knows.
You think
Who
so,
knows
huh?
if he's even going to get signed?
Well-
Malpel doesn't think he will. I
right.
respect his opinion, but I do think that a team is going to take a chance on him. Only one that can win, though. No team is going to put up with the PR nightmare that is Trevor Bauer unless
so?
they can win, because the fans are only going to hate him until he pitches well. Which he's been, by the way, adding new pitches this whole time. So it's not like he hasn't been pitching.
Let's say hello to Arnie, Boston Paul, Chris from Cambridge, Chris from Gallo, Daniel Ferrara, James Campion, Malpal, Tommy Johnson, and Dave D'Agostino, and all you guys who have not put your name in the lineup. Please do register. It's for free. And let's see. I was kind of hoping we'd get a little bit more turnout. Is this the kind of turnout that we got on Sirius Radio?
Could you please never say that word again to me?
Yeah,
I'm moving on from that.
I absolutely don't blame you.
Okay.
All right, now.
Okay, MLB rumors now, which I absolutely despise because that's all they are is rumors.
Well, this is a good one.
It's
and you
ridiculous.
remember in the Arizona Fall League,
Who cares if
and
Adele goes
this
to
rumor,
Washington?
Joey Adele to Washington.
Oh.
That's the latest rumor.
And who are they going to give up for Adele?
Michael DeRosa writes about this. Joey Adele. Do you remember your comments when you saw Joey Adele?
I absolutely said that Brandon Marsh was a better hitter than him.
That's right.
Nobody agreed with me,
but-
not one person, not even you.
It makes a lot. Well, after I saw a couple of games, I agreed with you. But Washington, look, now hear me out. They're in a rebuilding period. They're in a position to take a chance. Adele is not in a position. They're not in L.A. They're not taking chances. They're trying to win. They're trying to sell the team. So it wouldn't be too surprising to hear that Washington would be viewed as a potential landing spot for Joey Adele. If Joey Adele goes to
It
Washington,
makes no difference to fantasy.
does it make any difference to you? What do you mean? And he plays every day?
Yeah, he plays crappy every day.
He's got bull dinky. A lot of Adele is having a lot of potential.
Okay. Well,
Outfield
I
depth
guess
to the Angels is making it difficult for him to become
Yes.
a full-time player.
that's right.
What do you mean that's right?
That's absolutely true.
Oh, you're looking at his batting. You know what his batting average was last year?
You know what? In comparison to the average batting average, 224 is like it used to be so bad you couldn't have that guy on your team.
Yeah.
It used to be like Adam Dunn. Like, no, just kidding. It's not that
no,
bad.
That's true. Overall, change of scenery could be a great thing, and a team like the Nationals seem like a great fit for Joey Adell.
And getting every day at bats would count for fantasy value.
Absolutely.
If he's hitting, look, you don't want to hurt your team either. That's why you can have a catcher that stinks with batting average because he doesn't play every day. But if you got a guy on your, take a chance on him late in the draft. If he gets a job at the Washington Nationals, at least he'll get a chance to play and mature.
Now,
I don't think he can go back to the minors. Does he still have options?
No, the question was not forgotten. The answer to the two questions.
Malpel again, you punk.
No.
Malpel got it.
Oh, we got it?
He got one of them.
Malpal is right. The Yankees.
Scroll up though. Maybe someone else got
Did
it.
anybody else get it? It wasn't the Phillies.
Red Sox.
and Hack
Oh,
Wilson.
Arnie got it.
Arnie
Yankees.
got it. Yankees. There you go. Arnie wins a prize.
Wait, Dave
Wait
got
a
it.
second. Dave got it.
Yeah.
Dave D'Agostino got it. This is phenomenal. Are you kidding me? And the reason that it was the Yankees, they're all forgetting, they signed Aaron Judge, who was a free agent. Right?
Yeah, I mean, the Mets signed 10 players, I think, and the Yankees signed 4, even though you would think it was the Mets because they did kind of come close. Both of them spent over $500 million this offseason. Those two teams, over $1 billion spent just in those two teams.
Right.
Leave it to New York, right?
Leave it to New York. So the Yankees are the team that have spent the most. Thank you, Aaron Judge. All right, time to get to the trade. Somebody asked a question in the chat room about Luis Ariz, whatever his name is.
Best strikeout rate in town. 7%.
Well, keep in mind.
He has to even out the rest of these fools. Look at Soler.
They made a commitment this year. So here you go. Now, the Twins made a commitment. And they can't trust Avisail Garcia. They can't trust Jorge Soler. So they made a commitment to cut the strikeouts down. They want people to hit the ball, move the runners, and that's the offense that they're going with, not the home run hitting offense. So they acquired Luis Ariz, who's got a 7.1 strikeout rate.
Right.
They acquired Gene Segura, who's got a 15 strikeout rate. Not terrible.
No, that's really good, actually.
So that's what they're doing.
Because, listen, why would they focus on home runs in Miami when it's almost impossible to hit a home run there?
What do you think the starting lineup's going to be?
Chisholm, though, striking out almost 30% of the time.
Yeah, but he's better than that. What do you think the batting order is going to be?
Arias, Chisholm, Avisail Garcia, Soler,
Soler fourth, Garcia third. Cooper. Segura.
Wendell.
How about De La Cruz?
Okay, then Wendell.
And then Wendell. Okay? And then Stallings is the catcher.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
Chisholm's got a 27% strikeout rate. Araz, 7.1. Segura, 15.
They have now 3 really good or decent playable second basemen.
Yes.
So, Jazz Chisholm was actually their best player last year, even though he struck out almost 30% of the time. He'll probably still stay at second base. And then they'll put...
Chisholm goes to center field.
Oh.
Center field. Segura goes to third. Araz can play first base. So that's, look, it's still up in the air, but the point is, the question was, what do you think of Araz?
Yeah, they actually... their general manager, Kim Ning, did say that they're going to move Chisholm to center field.
Yes, he'll be in center field.
Anyways.
So Araz is what?
Go ahead.
Well, he's the
5th batting champ.
Right. To change teams the following off season.
Right. So Jose Reyes did it. Willie McGee did it. Remember Willie McGee? Yeah. Wasn't he a catcher that he played third base?
No, he was an outfielder. But the players, the batting champions, and we'll get to the next question in just a second. There are 2 more.
Oh, it's too hot in here. I got to turn the heater off.
Araz is the 5th batting champ to change teams in the following offseason since 1969. Jose Reyes did it, Willie McGee, Rod Carew, and Bill Madlock also did it. So how about that? And with Araz, the question about Araz, okay, he's got great bat-to-ball skills. He only struck out, what, around 7
Yeah,
8%.
he strikes out less than he walks.
Yes.
So-
So his 8.7 strikeout rate is still higher than
No,
both
that's his walk rate.
his walk rate, okay? But he's not a power hitter, and he doesn't have a position. I would
But
say
he can get on base.
I would say that fantasy purposes, Araz doesn't hit any home runs.
So what? He's a pure hitter.
He is a pure hitter, but I'm not going more than $12 for him.
Who's that one in Kirilov is another one?
No, that's something else. All right, we'll get to that in a second, all right? Because that's part of the deal.
Oh, it is? No,
well-
he's a... Okay.
That's a different deal. It's a different
Am I
deal.
messing things up, Leonard?
You're messing it up big time. So the second part of the deal is with the Marlins now having a lot of good second basemen. Chas Chisholm to center field.
Potato Pete!
All right, Lopez. How about Pablo Lopez?
Yeah.
He came into zone as a big league starter over the past 3 years. He had what, a 3.5 ERA, 25% strikeout rate, a 7% walk rate, 47% ground ball rate. So
I think that
I think it's pretty good.
I think Malpal probably likes Pablo Lopez just because of the formula that he taught me, which is to add the strikeout rate plus the ground ball rate, and if it equals 70, you got a potential breakout pitcher here. Pablo Lopez, I think the change in ballpark is not going to be helpful for him, but I think that he has the potential to be an excellent draft pick.
yeah, he had some injury problems. He landed on the
Especially
on the
if they
injury-
get Bauer, who
Yeah.
can help train him
Everybody's
along.
getting Bauer.
No, the Twins.
Did you ever get Bauer?
No. Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Oh,
Are
Hank
you
Bauer.
kidding me?
Hank Bauer. Oh, that's right. And you got suspended from labor because of that. Landed on the injured list, talking about Lopez, shoulder strains. And, of course, the most recent of those injuries came in the summer of 2021. Took away about 2 months. But he'll step into the Twins rotation. Sonny Gray, Joe Ryan, Tyler Mahle. It
They
was
still need Bauer.
and they still need Bauer. That's according to Dan Hayes. And
No,
Dan
Dan
Hayes,
Hayes did not say that he needs Bauer.
no, you said he needs Bauer.
They
Dan
did.
Hayes says that Maeda will remain a starter. The man out looks like it'll be Bailey Ober. The
Even
20
though Bailey Ober was good.
yeah,
Look, Bailey Ober, and maybe the Twins don't need to add another pitcher because if Bailey Ober is getting the boot out of the rotation, they're actually he had 3.21 ERA in 56 innings last season. In 31 starts in his career, he has an ERA of 3.82. It's not horrible. So if
No,
they're
it's not
kicking him
bad.
out of the rotation, then they probably don't need to add Bauer.
he's probably not bad. Now, what this does, pay attention, fantasy players, because Alex Kirilloff now has a slot as the primary first baseman.
Yeah, he was a first-round draft pick. Remember, everybody
Yep.
loved him. He was ranked as one of the sport's 10 to 15 best prospects prior to his big league debut. Everybody swooned over him, even though we told you right away. Even though he's a pure hitter, he's still not great for fantasy because he doesn't hit a lot of home runs. He doesn't steal a lot of bases. He does get on base, and he doesn't strike out a lot.
Right.
It's exactly what we're talking about when we speak of Luis Arias. He's not a great fantasy guy, but
No,
he
not
is
great.
absolutely helping with your batting average, with your on base
a
percentage.
left-handed bat to balance out the heavily right-handed lineup.
Okay.
Okay. He's got impeccable skills. We told you about his strikeout rate. Doesn't walk at a sexually high rate,
8.7, we already talked
but
about.
still.
He walks more than he strikes out.
Yep, and that's a big deal. Now, here are the two prospects. The top prospect that came along with Lopez is Jose Salas.
Okay, he only made it to high A last year.
Yeah.
So,
Well, he was in the Marlins farm system. He's now going over to
the Twins.
the Twins. So
He's 19-year-old switch hitter.
Yeah, okay, so he's got a couple of years to go.
Yeah.
And the other one is
Churio.
Churio.
We talked about him before they made the trade. We talked about Churio.
That's right, we did talk about Churio. He had a strong professional debut in the Dominican summer. He had 344, had a home run, 19 stolen bases. So,
But he hasn't made it up. He's probably not going to be fantasy relevant this year.
Not this year.
He's a great dynasty grab late, but he's really going to have to come up through the system. And one thing about the Dominican Summer League, I know this is off topic, but I was just reading about the Dominican Winter League. Jose Alfaro.
yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah, he's a catcher.
Yes. It might be time to draft this guy.
You
If
think
he
so?
gets playing time, which I think he will, he needs to be drafted again.
Okay.
A couple years ago, we've talked about this guy on and off. He did show some potential as a catcher, but then all of a sudden he got injured or whatever. The biggest question for him is health. But if he gets to play, he is a great late round catcher to draft. That's my tip.
Okay, now, a rookie is a rookie is a rookie. Who said that?
Is that your tip?
Who said that? Leave my tip alone, right? Everybody loves the hype of the prospects, right? Now, Andy, do you remember in 2018, and we saw
Yes,
this guy
of course
in
I remember
the
him. I liked
Arizona
him.
Fall League, right? We
Yes,
saw
we
him.
did, yes.
Justice Sheffield and Miguel Andujar.
They were the number 3 and 4 prospects.
Could you let me finish?
In the Yankees until they got traded to.
Right. They didn't get traded
No,
yet.
Justice did to Seattle.
Oh, he did get traded to Seattle? All right. But they were both, so here you go, the Yankees. And this is one, do you know why the Mets?
Maybe not. I don't know for sure.
You don't know anything. All right. The reason that the Mets are not making a deal after the Korea deal fell through is not because of the money. They'll spend the money,
They just paid somebody $8 million.
but they will not give up prospects. And if you take a look at Andujar and Sheffield, number 3 and 4 prospects in the organization for the Yankees, so that's why the Mets have not making a deal to replace Correa.
I don't know.
And I'll tell you something. Yeah, they were the 2 biggest names in the Yankee farm system.
So the Mets aren't making any moves?
Because that's what Major League Baseball does not want to give up the prospects. But they were both designated for assignment on the same day, last Thursday. So that's why the Mets have not replaced Correa.
Why? Because they're going to get one of them?
No, they're not getting one of them. They don't want to give up any of their prospects. Same way the Yankees didn't with Andujar and Sheffield.
They don't have to give up prospects because they have clearly all the money in the world.
It doesn't matter, okay?
I think that they were told to calm down on the spending.
And of course, what I don't get is that, well, I understand the value of Andrew McCutchen, but the Yankees cut ties with Andujar in September, allowing Pittsburgh to claim him. And then Pittsburgh
Did they designate him?
designated him because they signed McCutchen, the veteran.
Well, what? Can't they use both McCutchen
No,
and
you
Andujar? They
have-
played different positions.
But you have only a certain amount of players you can have.
Hello, Stardog.
Oh, Stardog is here. Good
And
morning,
Potato.
Stardog.
Hello,
Potato
Potato.
Pete is here. Now you're talking. Now it makes it worthwhile. And if you're new and listening, please let me know. We want to know if we should continue doing this.
We're going to do it anyway.
We're doing it anyway. Okay. So
'Cause
you
we
know,
love it.
I remember last summer Andujar requested a trade from the Yankees, and Sheffield, he was designated for assignment.
All right, let's move on from this.
by the
nonsense.
Mariners. He was designated for assignment by the Mariners.
Okay.
Now,
Manny.
let me ask you a question.
Oh, come on. You know how I feel about this.
You think Manny Ramirez belongs in the Hall of Fame?
If it goes by stats, of course, but we both know it doesn't go by stats. It goes by personality contest now.
Well, you
it's
think that's
ridiculous.
it?
Manny Ramirez in the postseason, same as Kurt Schilling, 2 excellent postseason players, definitely deserving of the Hall of Fame. Manny's not going to get in because the sports writers are going to ding him for the PEDs.
Well,
that
he's got the most. He's got 29 home runs. That's the most all time in the postseason.
What a joke the Hall of Fame has become.
Right? Well, it has, and I'll tell you what. Now, you may have heard, I mean, he was a World Series MVP. He has single-game postseason record with his OP, everything. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. Now,
520 average in the 2004 World Series. I mean, 17-game hit streak in the postseason. That's the longest all-time postseason hit streak. Most home runs all-time in the postseason, 29. He's broke a lot of postseason records, but he was also very good in the regular season.
All right. And Dave D'Agostino was here.
And the reason he won't get in is because Manny being Manny.
Manny being Manny. But I will tell you, now you may have heard this before, but I'm going to say it again. My 2 picks for the Baseball Hall of Fame are, number 1, Maury Wills. That's right. Nobody thinks it's Maury Wills. Now, keep in mind, back in 1953, Minnie Minoso had 25 stolen bases to League Baseball. Billy Bruton had 26. Now you skip to 1956, and Aparicio stole 21, then he stole 28, then he stole 29, and then he had 56 stolen bases in 1959.
And 51 in 1960.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
3 years in a row, he stole over 50 bases.
And then
Maury Wills.
But what did Maury Wills
Holy
do?
shit.
104.
He stole
94,
104 bases in
crazy.
1962.
118 stolen. Well, that was Lou Brock.
Okay, hold on. He led the league in stolen bases. Maury Wills.
Yeah. But you don't.
6 years in a row.
6 years in a row. Okay, but Aparicio had it more than 6 years in a row.
Okay, is Aparicio in?
Yeah, Aparicio's in the Hall
But
of
he
Fame.
never even stole close to 104 bases.
But
in 1
here's
year.
the reason that Maury Wills belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
It's not the stolen base numbers. It's the fact that because of Maury Wills, baseball coverage on TV totally changed. It was the first time they started showing the pitcher going into the and in the same camera, they showed the first base runner and they showed the pickoff attempt to first, all in the same view. And he changed. Until then, you didn't have that. So he changed the game. Maury Wills changed, and anytime you change the game or any aspect of the game, come on, that's a Hall of Fame. And my other one, now this is amazing. I don't hear anybody, not one person, anywhere, talking about, I forgot his name, all right? Maybe that's why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
I'll find his name.
You know, the pitcher with the one arm.
Oh. What was his name?
Anyway, one-arm pitcher. Imagine having only one arm and being an all-star.
Abbott. Great Abbott.
And Abbott should be in the Hall of Fame.
What were his numbers like?
I don't know. His numbers were good. He was a Hall of Famer.
But he only had one arm.
He was in one arm.
So when he threw the pitch,
he put the glove, he
under
took
his
the glove
arm.
under his stump. But when he was hitting, are you kidding? He only had one arm.
and he hit,
And he became he had the fielding awards. Now,
I think that's a great hero.
but
in baseball.
ultimately, if Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame,
they won't let him in either.
because of what he did off the field.
God.
On the field numbers, absolutely Hall of Fame. Off the field, that's why he's not in. Then Abbott should be in the Hall of Fame for what he did, not just, off the field, giving hope to so many people with handicaps. He definitely belongs in the Hall of Fame.
We watched an interview with Keith Hernandez the other day.
Yeah.
A great interview that was all about baseball, and he talked about Pete Rose. And not only were his stats absolutely qualifying him for the Hall of Fame, but his job in the clubhouse. He was an excellent
Right.
clubhouse guy with a great work ethic. The shit he did when he was a manager does not have anything to do with his stats as a baseball player. And until they fix the Hall of Fame and put people that are deserving in there instead of people they like personally, it could just be a laughing stock of sports. That's how I feel about it.
Okay, no,
I'm not holding back, Leonard.
It's a little. I don't know if Abbott won the Cy Young Award, but he was an MVP. He was an All-Star. Give me a break.
And what a great hero for kids to look up to with disabilities, that you can succeed if you work hard.
He is a Hall of Famer. Okay, so you got that.
Yes.
Abbott and Wills, you won't hear their name mentioned at all.
By us, you will, right, Leonard?
Yes, indeed. Now,
Yes, indeedy.
a couple of things.
Yuli,
The Marlins are moving towards a deal with Yuli Gurriel.
he's
Gurriel.
great addition to any team.
He's a good addition, but
Who's going to play? Then he's going to
And
play
the
first
twin-
base if they get him.
then he may wind up playing first base.
Okay, who's
We'll
that going
see.
to take out?
The Marlins have been interested in him for a while.
Garrett Cooper will lose his job. then.
Garrett Cooper could lose his job.
But this is the perfect hitter that they were looking for. He could get on base.
And the Twins are in it also because as much as we want to see Alex Kiranoff play, I don't know. They don't have a
They don't have a DH, so it's
and
easy
they don't have
for
a
them.
DH. Now, one other thing that's very important to fantasy baseball, and that is Chris Sale.
Yeah.
Now, as you remember, he was diagnosed with a stress fracture in his rib cage in the middle of March.
Yeah, dude, in the last 2 years, he's only had less than 50 innings.
Yep.
What a joke.
Okay, so
He had a broken pinky, blah,
broken
blah,
what?
blah. He had a broken pinky.
Oh, pinky. I thought you were going to say something else.
Dinky?
No, penis.
Full dinky?
No, never mind. But he had a broken pinky. You're right. It wasn't unclear if he would pitch again. It was unclear if he would pitch again. Surgery for a broken wrist. He had a bicycle accident. He's a big-time wild card who, if he really comes back, could be a very interesting play. Now, if
What
you're
about
willing
Shoeless
to
Joe Jackson? What did he do that's so bad?
I don't know. He gambled on games.
Did he throw the World Series?
They say that that's a possibility.
This is a lot different than what Pete Rose did.
I don't care. I'm not talking
Well, I'm talking
about
to somebody in the chat room.
Oh. Now, Chris Sale told reporters, including Pete Abraham, outstanding reporter for the Boston Globe, that he is very, very excited about being healthy and heading into his first normal season since
And
2019.
his first normal spring training, yeah.
Would you draft Chris Sale?
Yes, I might.
All right, so
Absolutely.
would you draft Chris Sale and Trevor Bauer
Oh, for sure.
on the same team? You'll probably pay very little with an upside good enough to win your league pitching
Absolutely.
wise.
I'll
Right?
draft both of them. You know me. I'm
Yeah,
definitely
I
drafting
know
Bauer.
I know you, okay? So he had Tommy John surgery, a fractured rib, fractures to his finger, fracture to his wrist. He's only gone, what, about 40-something innings?
Less than 50 innings in the last 2 seasons, but he hasn't had a healthy spring training since 2019. He's getting paid a lot of money. Look, his team is stinking. The poor Red Sox are so bad. Their offense is so bad that they literally just upscaled by big time when they got. Did they sign Duvall? Duvall is going to hit like a monster in Fenway. You know, Malpal did a spread, a hit chart, a spray chart of all of Duvall's hits last year, and he compared it like what they would have been at Fenway.
Right.
And he hits all over the ballpark. Not that that matters anymore, but he would have had a lot more home runs in Fenway than he did hitting in other ballparks last year.
All right, so we're sending out a prize to Arnie, I believe.
Yes, Arnie gets one.
Who's getting the Yankees thing. Arnie, send me an email.
And they didn't ever get the visitor to Wrigley Field who has a 1 OP or slug.
And that is...
Don't tell him.
Why not? Show's almost over.
Give them more chance to figure it out.
All right.
The latecomers. So there's over 2,000 hitters that have had at least 30 bats as visiting hitters to Wrigley Field.
Visiting hitter, yeah.
The only one of those 2,000 visiting hitters to have is it slugging of 1.0.
Yeah, is who? And he's still playing.
And he's way ahead of the others because he also is the only one to get 0.9.
Yeah, and he's still playing.
And he's a former Cubby.
Is he a former Cubby?
Absolutely. Don't you remember Theo talking about him
Oh, okay.
as a prospect?
Okay.
So there's all your hints.
Who is it? And you got about 2 minutes to get your answer.
Yeah, you got 2 minutes to
okay?
tell us your answer.
2 minutes to get your answer.
And again, I would like to reiterate, after they made the changes to Camden Yards, they went from 153 home runs in 2021
Not Hosmer.
to 77 home runs in 2022. That is a substantial difference. In fact, it was cut in half. The home runs at Camden Yards were half. Detroit is now moving the fences in for the sole purpose of creating more offense. Could it be that they actually get that many home runs in the ballpark next year because it's for that reason. So they're doing it purposefully.
We'll see.
It's not to add seats. They're actually going to lose seats.
We'll see.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
How do you lose seats moving the fences in, Leonard?
Oh, because you have to do something with the walls.
They're lowering the walls.
Well,
put more seats in.
They're
always sold out.
They're actually raising the walls. Okay.
Oh.
But still.
But they're bringing them in.
It's going to be more home runs. All right, let's go through the National League East very quickly.
We don't have time.
We have time.
No, we don't.
We'll stay until 10 o'clock. Okay. Now.
Ronald Acuna Jr. is projected for 31.
This is Atlanta we're covering now,
yes.
right? Okay,
well,
go ahead.
I think it's go figure.
All right, go ahead.
31 home runs and 35 stolen bases next year. That's according to Steamer. He did have 41 home runs and 37 stolen bases in 2019, and he would be the first player with two 30-30s. That means 30 homers and 30 stolen bases before the age 25. Now, right. Acuna, is he healthy?
We don't know.
Are we just going to expect him to do what he did in 2019?
That's the whole point. He's not in the WBC, and he's really upset about that.
Is he a Dominican guy?
Yes.
Well, they can stand
No,
him.
he's a Venezuelan.
Okay.
Venezuelan.
That's unfortunate. But wouldn't you do the same thing if you were manager of Acuna?
Of course. It's about the player. It's not about the WBC, who wins that, or anything else. And you want to keep Acuna healthy.
Right. And so I think that Steamer is... I just think they're over.
31-30.
That's too many.
Anyway, the answer to the White Sox question. Ready? Because I don't see anybody.
No, the Cubbies. He's a White Sox now.
Yeah, he's a White Sox now. You got
Eloy.
Oh, there you go. Daniel Ferrara.
Oh, Malpal got it before him.
Malpal got it? Son of a beeswax.
Malpal, we got to send him.
I got to send him another.
We got to send him so much stuff that I know his address by heart.
I think we should just go to his house, knock on his door, and say, "Here's all your shit, Malpal, for stealing my notes."
I know his address by heart now.
I know. Saturday night, she's on the phone. I'm saying, "Can I interrupt you for a second?" She says, "Malpal, I'll call you right back."
It's not true.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Eloy. That's the answer. Okay.
That's a good one.
So we're going through the American League East, and that's National League East. Sorry, we talked a little bit about Atlanta. How about the Mets? So they signed Jose Acuna for 2 years. They came out of nowhere grabbing the veteran who resurrected his career, and that's number one. And number two, everybody's talking about Francisco Alvarez and his role.
It's kind of interesting that Eloy has that many at-bats. It's only 30, but when you're talking about the team that he went to, which is the White Sox, how often do they go to Wrigley Field?
Yeah, I don't know.
Not very much.
I don't know. But the point is now, what do you think of Alvarez and the Mets? Everybody loves him. You know why?
He's not going to be hitting every day.
A rookie is a rookie. Go ahead.
Is he? This is the catcher, right?
The catcher.
The new catcher. Of course I like him, but I'm not willing to pay for what he's going to cost. I'd rather have Alfaro late in the draft.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. But according to Andy Martino, beat writer for the Mets, he will not be a full-time designated hitter. Instead, the organization wants him to continue to develop as a catcher.
Okay, but isn't he ready to come up?
He's not developed as a catcher.
What was he playing last year?
He's not developed as a catcher.
Last year.
He is a catcher,
Stop
but
yelling. Hello?
Stop.
Stop yelling at me.
He needs more work as a catcher, is what they're saying.
You're so riled up, Leonard.
I'm very riled up.
You're so Riley Greened up.
Don't make me laugh. I got pain in my stomach. So they have at DH, the Mets have Daniel Vogelbach, who plays against right-handed pitching. They got Daniel Ruff and Tommy Pham, who can face lefties.
Whoop-de-doo, you can face lefties. Yay!
Question. Tommy Pham or Dominic Smith? Who do you like better?
Is Pham the one that got into the brawl over the football?
Yes.
Why is he still... He didn't even get punished for that.
Well, he got traded. He got put on free agency.
Nobody cares, though. All these sports media vultures don't care about Tommy Pham coming out and beating up Jock Peterson.
Slam...
It's funny who they care about and who they don't.
Now, Alvarez's best chance of playing time will come as catcher with some DH at-bats sprinkled in. Behind the plate, the Mets have two defensive specialists. They got Tomas Nido and they got Omar Narvaez. So the duo of Nito and Narvaez are going to split catching duties until
and it's gonna-
Alvarez is ready.
Sorry. Navarez hit. He was a 20 home run hitter in
Yeah,
Seattle.
he's a good catcher.
And he got to play every day there. But if they're going to split time between these two, Nito
Right.
is not even draftable. Omar Navarez is draftable, but very, very late. I would still take Alfaro over him. I don't know. The only question is, I'm going to be paying very close attention to this guy in spring training. Alfaro, he is very under the radar. And if he gets playing time and he's healthy, he is going to help your team win your league.
Now, Alvarez in the minors, 260, 27 homers, 78 RBIs, and 112 games between AA, Binghamton, and AAA series.
I'm going to look at how many times he played as a catcher.
So we'll see. And according to Michael Marino, another Mets beat writer, it's very possible that unless something changes, Brett Batty and Alvarez will play the year in AAA. Okay.
Well, don't they need Batty because they didn't get Correa?
No, but they have. Who else is playing third base now? Man, I can't believe
Alvarez,
it.
Francis.
Yeah, they got Eduardo Escobar and Brett Batty, but they're going to start him in AAA. They also got Jose Peraza. They got Danny Mendick. So let's see what happens.
Okay.
Eduardo Escobar is going to play third base. You got that? Or maybe McNeil plays third and Luis Guillermo. They have a lot of options at second base.
I don't know how Francisco Alvarez You're saying that they want to bring him up as a catcher, but he's played 79 games last year as catcher and 33 as a DH in the minors. Plus, he came up to the majors and played 3 games as DH.
Just because
and 2
you
as
play it doesn't mean you're any good. They want him to improve, not learn the position.
Bull Dinky.
So he won't be gone for a long time.
Bull Dinky. He'll be up.
All right, Bull Dinky. You forgot
And?
Now, Phillies.
Poppycock?
Phillies manager is Rob Thompson.
Yes.
He said on Thursday that, and this is why I
What
like.
the hell is he talking about? They just got Craig Kimbrell. What are
But
they going to
still, they got Craig Kimbrell. They got
Sir Anthony Dominguez.
They got a lot of close. The name of the game in baseball is the bullpen.
Oops, sorry, everybody.
That's the name of the game, and I wouldn't be surprised.
They still have Jose Alvarado.
Yep.
But Craig Kimbrell is clearly the
Greg,
closer.
And Greg Soto, former Detroit closer.
Yes, he's a good one too.
All right, Matt Stram, who can close, a lefty, Alvarado, a lefty. They are set.
Connor Brogdon.
And I think if Alec Bohm struggles, at some point they will get Manny Machado.
They have a lot of lefties.
Did you hear what I just said?
I heard you.
If Alec
You're
Bohm
full of it.
struggles at third, etch that in your kitchen table. They will get
Let me talk
Machado.
about Manny, Macho Man, for a minute.
Go ahead.
There's no way the Padres, who spent a ton of money this offseason trying to win because they have another year or 2 at max with these players under control. Machado is the glue that holds this team together offensively. There is absolutely no chance that San Diego trades Machado unless they're doing so bad at the deadline that they want to make something off of him. And that means they would have to believe that they can't win the next year, too, or re-sign Machado. He's staying in. These writers, they don't like him.
Okay, but here's the deal. This is why I like Philadelphia. Do you mind if I finish? Because we're coming towards the end of the show.
Yes.
Oh, my God. I feel like I'm going to be getting some today. All right?
Getting some what?
Spaghetti. Did you make spaghetti? Of the 16 teams that finished with a 500 or better record last year, listen to this. There were 2 teams
Okay.
who utilized the bullpen by committee, Philadelphia and Tampa. So
It's
going to be
stupid to think that they just got Kimbrell and then,
14 of the 16 winning teams going with a committed high leverage arm. It makes me wonder if
let me see this.
what's going to happen.
Let me see this. Sandlot Shrink real quick.
Oh, you want to see?
Yeah, I
Sandler
want to
Shrink?
see who's playing over there, third base. Oh, Alec Bohm.
Alec Bohm, who I mentioned already.
So
And
fun.
finally, this will let everybody go outside and play. Washington, again, I wonder.
Oh, Poppycock.
Oh, Poppycock and Bull Dinky. Okay. Now, I don't know if the McGuire sisters are related, but let's get to
McGuire
Washington.
sisters?
I mean, Dominic Smith, 250, 8 home runs, 60 RBIs. For the second year in a row, Dominic Smith had better underlying metrics than his production.
He's chunky now.
Well, he was chunky when we saw him in Binghamton.
Now he's chunky, big, portly.
Is he really?
He's 250 pounds.
Oh, my God. But his average exit velocity and hard hit rate were both his second highest.
Right.
And
they can use him as a DH.
And the Mets decided to cut bait. They non-tendered him.
Right.
Okay? Citi Field
You love this guy.
Well,
you have a bias.
No, I don't. But I just think because the Mets got rid of him, I think he'll be better than Tommy Pham, who was dealt from the Reds to the Red Sox at the trade deadline.
Yeah, Pham strikes out 27% of the time.
Yeah.
And that's his highest strikeout percentage since 2016. He doesn't even walk 10% of the time, which is about normal in baseball nowadays. 17 home runs and 63 RBIs, but he failed to reach double-digit steals for the first full season since 2016. So, number one, he strikes out way too much for his age. Number two, he's not going to steal any bases, which is what he was good at.
And he'll be the fourth outfielder for them. I think Dominic Smith is going to have a better season. The Mets got rid of Dominic Smith, and they paid for Tommy Pham.
Well, that's the typical Mets for you, right?
And finally, one of my favorite players every year,
Victor Robles,
who has failed me
Holy moly.
Well, he's still.
Guess how old he is?
He's still 25.
It's unbelievable.
He's been 25 for 4 years now?
Okay, I'm with you with the Victor Robles. We both have a soft spot for him because of his work ethic.
Just because
you don't
I'm
have it
old,
anymore?
Because I'm old. Why do you say I have a soft spot?
We both keep believing in Robles.
Because I'm old, I have a soft spot? That's not nice.
I didn't say that.
You just said.
Babies have soft spots,
Okay,
Leonard,
go
not
ahead.
old people. Even though you act like a baby.
Go ahead.
The older you get, the more baby-like you
He's still just 25. 26% strikeout rate, 4.5%.
He was
terrible.
You know
walk
what?
rate.
He used to be a great hitter with a potential to steal bases and hit home runs. And then he tried so hard to hit home runs, he got all buffed up. But the point is, his work ethic is great. If you look below the numbers, you could see that this guy tries to get better. There's a lot of hitters out there that just are good with what they do. They don't want to listen to any instruction. He absolutely tries really hard, but I'm not going to fall for it again. I've been burned by this guy so many times. I can't believe he's only 25.
He doesn't have a lot of competition. His playing time could be decent. He's got decent speed. And he
Is that it, Leonard? Did we do it all?
He could be good. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we really do sincerely thank you. This was our first Lady in the Legend podcast of the season. We will continue doing them every Sunday at 9 o'clock. Bring your friends and tell them.
They don't want us to tell their friends because this is a secret to winning fantasy.
For the show that you had to pay for in previous years, it is absolutely free at last. Thank God Almighty we're free at last, okay? So thank you, everybody. And once again, here's the phone number to call if we can help you. And if we can help you. And we're trying to get a way that you can call into the show, okay?
Yeah, we had that last year, but it was such a bitch.
There you go. Okay, everybody. Thanks to Boston Paul, who's been tremendous all week helping me out.
Don't worry, Boston Paul. We're getting the ale only put together.
Chris
Don't
from
worry.
Cambridge, Chris from Gallo, Daniel Ferrara, James Caprion, Hole and Malpal, Potato Pete Star Dogs, Tommy Johnston, Dave D'Agostino. Okay, baby, we're ready to roll.
Stop yelling.
I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. with different stuff. Different. Goodbye.
Goodbye.